I'm an So majority of my business comes from creating paintings and murals, and also I do paint parties. So my goal coming into all of this is to open a space where I can facilitate those paint parties. And so I've been doing them pretty much mobile right now. I'll come to your living room and set up with you and your friends and paint there, or sometimes I work with different studios around Indianapolis. And so at the beginning of this year, I just started searching for different spaces that I could occupy permanently, just to work out of. And so I feel like I'm on a good track, but I know that with that, it's gonna give me so many more responsibilities. I'm gonna have so much more work to do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm in the perfect space to just learn more about just being the best businesswoman I can be.
Yeah. Good stuff. So you are definitely in the right place. And for the next year, we're going to help you to grow your business as much as we can.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And then, hey, Dee Dee, good to see you, my friend, on here. How are you today?
Good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You submitted a question for our Q&A. So do you want to tell the group what you were looking for?
Yeah. So hello, you can call me Dieter or Didi. I'm a former lifetime HR professional who within the last year and a half to almost 2 years has launched out. I have a coaching and consulting business. So I've used everything I did in corporate, and I pretty much am just doing it independently. I'm niching to coach and support HR professionals. However, I also coach leaders, and it's professional development, it's personal development. So one thing I asked Angie yesterday, and I'll be honest with you, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I'm not one of those who's like, I'm a boss man. No, 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 no. However, I've always loved autonomy and just doing things on my own. So I thought I was gonna just create my own internal job description. And God said, no, honey, you about to do this on your own. So everything that we do as entrepreneurs, it's all a project. So for me, don't feel like I'm at the place in my business where I would even know how to use a virtual assistant because I'm still building my foundation. And so I'm doing a little bit of coaching with this client, I might be speaking here, I might be developing something here. So what I struggle with is, how do I, like from a project management, it would be so nice if there was a tool or a process that would help me plot out, well, if you know you have something this month, and this month, what makes sense for you to work on today? So I'm doing it all very paper and pencil today. I don't want to go get a whole PMP, but I just was asking Angie, how in the world does she plan and prepare for all these things that are simultaneously? Did I say that right? Simultaneously. And I know she has CART, but just from a newer business owner, does she have any tips, tricks, or tools, or do you all, for how you manage your business from the long term and breaking that down in day-to-day chunks? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a few tips and tricks, but first of all, I want to put this out to the group. Since this is a mastermind, do any of you have any project management tips or tools that you use? And if so, let's share those with Dee Dee. Keisha.
Hi, Dee Dee. It's funny because I think I'm at the point where I need a virtual assistant, and that was going to be my question. Like, do you guys know of anyone that's great? Because I'm the same way. I've been using Asana, and Asana is free, which I like, free 99. And then what I use it for is, like you said, it lets you break those projects down into smaller chunks. And then it allows you to put due dates on there. It's really user friendly. And so for the last 3 to 4 years, I've been using it, but like I feel like I'm at a point now that I need to go to something else and then have a person do all that. Because I met with Amy yesterday, Angie, the one that has the business that was performing at the VIP. And she was like, "Oh, child, you need a virtual assistant now. You got," because I have so many projects and I do have them broken down. So try Ashana. Ashana is really good. And then when
Okay.
I had like interns work for me, you can send them their own link and assign stuff to them. And so it allows you to grow. So you can start out small and it allows you to grow as well. And so that's the one I've been using for the last couple of years and I like it.
Okay, thank you.
I want to add to that, Deetra, in terms of the interns, that's a great place to start. You can go to Indiana Internet and become, that's where we at the VIP Center get our interns from. And you can become an intern employer, so to speak. You can ask for free interns. There are interns also that they have, like, the state has a pay you back program where they will pay up to 50% of that intern's pay. So where you're like only paying like $7 an hour, but you could put a project on there that could be a short-term project management type internship, and somebody actually creates your project management system for you.
Okay.
Which is a really, really nice thing to have if you don't have the time, or, I mean, and you can go in this system. As a matter of fact, let me show it. I'll share my screen here and I can show it to you. So let's go over here. Let me go into, let's see here. Where are you? Hold on. There we go. Work and Learn Indiana.com. All right, let me go into my workspace. So you have to create an account here, but just so you can see what this looks like, you've got interns from all the local colleges who are, trying to apply for interns. You have to create your internship and what you want. You can post it. And then what happens is you start getting applicants. So this is really nice.
This is great to know because I usually try to go like on Indeed and have to go through 10,000 folks and it's just random people applying. This will definitely streamline the process.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I'll also put this link in chat for you all. And interns can be used for anything, shorter term projects, long-term projects. One of the things that we do when we're looking for an intern in residence, we come here to find that person here. So it's a really, really good resource.
Thank you. Is the VIP Center going to have interns this summer?
We are looking at having 2 interns. We've been talking to a couple of them. We haven't finalized yet, but we're probably not going to do the intern in residence because Lois Dunlop, who is a part of our group, Lois is handling our Airbnb coordination now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very, very helpful, all of this. Thank you.
Rachel, did you have a comment?
I just didn't understand how to spell whatever website Nikisha was talking about, and then it looked like you had it on your screen. Asana,
Yes.
A-S.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if she could put it in chat.
Yeah, let me just share my screen again because I have a link where it has the top 10 free project management. I'll send this link to you all as well. Because I have tried some of these and I can give you some intel. So Keisha, you're talking about Asana, right?
Yes, yes, but like that's the only one I've used, so I would definitely like to know if there's one that may
Yeah.
be a little
You
easier.
can find, yeah, you can find all of these on this link that I just sent you in the chat. And most of these, if not all of these, are what we call freemiums. You can get a basic plan for free, but they're going to try to upsell you so that you can do some more fancy footwork in these. So all of them are like that. Instagant, which if you're familiar with Gantt charts are, they're basically the foundational way to manage your projects. And so a lot of these project management tools are built on that. But it tells you some of the features. Now, the thing about this is you're not going to get all of these features in the freemium. So you have to get in there. A lot of them, they give you a free trial to see if you like it. Team Gantt, I don't know about this one. This is the one that Keisha's talking about that you could try out. A visual project timeline that you can use to see everything. So if you're a visual person, ClickUp. This one is, let's see, you only pay $4.99 per person each month. So it would just be $5 a month to use it. Not sure about this one. I'm going to go to this one, Smartsheet. So this is one that I used a long time ago and it's still out there. So it's a tried and true. It's very much like a spreadsheet, but I'm such a tightwad and such a frugal person. You know, back in my day when I first started, I actually took this and I created Excel spreadsheets and put formulas in just so I wouldn't have to pay the fee.
Straightforward. Mhm.
Do
And
you still have one of those?
Yeah.
I'll buy it from you and just
No,
label it.
you do not have to buy it. I'll give it to you. I've got a bunch of these actually. So Trello is very popular.
I've heard a lot of people use Trello. Yeah.
Very popular. And then Monday.com. I tried this out. I tried the Monday.com out and I was actually trying it for timekeeping. I wanted the timekeeping element for employees. It was a little bit more work than I wanted to put in.
Yeah, me too. I tried that one too.
Proof Hub. This is basically it's like a spreadsheet, a glorified spreadsheet. Teamwork, I think I tried this one as well, but it's really it's more designed if you have more than just you know, where you're trying to manage projects with team members. So this is one of many different projects that I use. This is one I did where I set it up myself, and what I did was I created an overall calendar kind of project timeline. So I would list off, hey, what are the project activities that I need to do? What are the comments there? Who's doing this? And then I had the months. And so I basically color coded, you know, every time I completed something, I would put it on there. But if it was something that I needed to focus on, it would be red and until I did something with it. But this was so all of these other tabs are jump off, you know, different parts of the project. So for example, for this is a corporate client that I have, and there are actually many sub projects off of this main project. So I'm thinking of you, Deetra, but I just basically just started creating tabs for each of the different components, like small group coaching. This particular client was also doing my executive influencer. So this is also, I created sequence of learning events for offsites on here.
And this spreadsheet, this is a client focused spreadsheet, right?
This is a client focused.
Okay.
And, so let's see. Let's see if I have this one in here. Project. see here. I'd have to do a little bit more digging to find the right ones, but I mean, you can really just, I can give you this just as a, I don't know if you want this because it's project specific, but you can basically take the same concept
Yeah.
and build it out.
Okay.
You can have, you know, like your overall timeline. And this could be, you know, this, you could actually add another column here. I've got this, the first column, oh, there we go, project activity, or it could even be project. And then, you know, so if it's like coaching group A, coaching group B, one-on-one client.
And some of the, and I would actually probably break it down like project, then project activity. Because to be honest, some of the activity for some projects for me, it's just preparing. And sometimes the preparing is just like practicing my skill. Do you know what I mean? Like it just all just depends.
Well, and you could even have, you know, this first tab is just your overall projects and your time.
Yeah.
And then each tab is a specific project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I have a whiteboard. You can't see it. I have a whiteboard in front of me that's pretty organized.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's the, okay, well, you have these things going on and some of them overlap. So sometimes I just struggle with, oh, well, I know I need to get these key things done this week, but what does that look like for the day? Or sometimes like on Sunday, I'll get organized.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do I spend 5 hours here? Do I do this? And I'm like, and I'm trying to not have a notebook, have a journal, print out my calendar. I'm trying to not spend as much time even doing all that.
Right. So here's one of my easy tools that I absolutely love. I mean, it's a weekly planner, but this could, I could even share the template. You could make this a monthly planner or an annual planner, you know, one for each month. But I love this thing. I like my time blocking. I like
this would be good for this. To me, this would be good for daily.
Yeah. All right. So do you want me to share this with you?
Please.
Okay, I'll share this with you.
And I just need to make my own copy and I can wipe all your stuff out.
Yes.
So I don't look at it like, oh, what are all these people and names?
Yes.
Thank you. Very, very, very helpful.
You are welcome.
There's a lot to this entrepreneur stuff.
Let me make you. Okay. Yep, there is.
A whole lot.
But the good news is I have not fired myself in a while. Like some weeks I fire myself and then I have to like walk away or journal and come back and then I rehire myself. So I'm not letting these things make me fire myself. So I'm just, every time a need comes up, I just believe, I'm like, there's a resource for me or a tool. I just don't know about it.
All right, so I do want to open it up for everybody else. We have a few more minutes. If anybody has a business challenge or a business question that you want to ask or get an answer to, this can be related to anything and all things business. It can be very practical. It can be very strategic and big picture. So does anybody have like a burning question that you want to tackle today? Like, how do I get started in business? Kira, don't worry, we're going to answer that question for you.
I guess it would kind of be like a broad question. Just general advice on working with different people as an entrepreneur. So I'm an artist and I'm finding that a lot of people want to help me with my projects or they want me to come into their spaces and do my projects in their spaces. But in my brain, I kind of don't know how to work with them, how to make sure both people are being compensated and the workload is spread out evenly. And so I guess it would just be mindset advice on how to work with different people while I'm growing my business.
Anybody want to throw out some thoughts or suggestions here? Because everybody's like trying to figure it out for themselves. How do you work with
All right,
people?
what's the, I'm sorry, the exact question. I'm sorry, Kier, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, so basically I'm looking for advice on working with different people. So basically I have my craft, I have my skill set, and people want me to bring it to like their studio or their office on a reoccurring basis. And I'm the type of person where, you know, when I paint, I'm in a room by myself, just locked in the room. And so when other people are in the picture and money's involved and sharing responsibilities are involved, it's very new to me. And so just going into that, like what would be some advice that you have, or what would be a good mindset to have as you're entering that space?
So the first thing that I'm thinking about, and maybe it's just a question, are they wanting to collaborate with your business? Are they wanting to donate space? Are they wanting for you to maybe have a client partner relationship? What is the intention on them wanting to, I'm just going to use the word, I guess, you be in their space?
The intention is to make their space more profitable, bring more business to their
Okay.
space.
So it's more about the partnership aspect.
My thought would be the first thing you need to do is make sure everything is in writing. Job descriptions and expectations need to be in writing, because clear communication you think is happening verbally, and it may be, but I've found that when there's a dispute, if you have something that you can say, well, I did X because of this statement in Y, or, you know, on paper, this is, it's nice to have something to cover your butt, you know, with, like when I was in corporate, I saved every blessed email I got, because I knew eventually somebody would say, why did you do this? And I'd be like, oh, because so-and-so told me in this email right here, well, let me forward that to you. Or, you know, let me, yeah, as per the email given to me before, you know, so I would say clear expectations are going to be very helpful if you write them down. Or
And-
maybe I'm not understanding the whole question, but.
And something else I would add to is, as you're going through this process, get familiar with who you are at your core, like your values, your vision. Get real clear on that and give yourself permission for it to change, because at the end of the day, people are going to always have opinions, suggestions, partnerships, and you can even kind of get lost in that. That could actually become a distraction. But the more that you are clear on who you are as a person, who you are as a CEO, what you want for your business, that's just going to help you to at least make the right decisions that work for you.
Yeah, and I want to jump right in here real quick too. Akira, this is Lois. So you sound like you have a personality like myself. My first recommendation is you need to say no before you start saying yes. You need to have a peace of mind and in your heart. I think you need to, because of your age, you're so young and developing, you need to figure out, first of all, what exactly do you want, not what they want. What do you want? And that's going to take time, as Zeetra was saying. It's going to take time. But you need to, if you were to consider someone, if you don't have peace about it holistically, like in every part of it, absolutely not. It's better to fail on your own than to have other people involved. And then you got to trying to get out of it with everybody. You know what I mean? You need to go through the slow process and the growth process, development period. But the other thing is, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you get a mentor, one or two that you just completely trust. Pray about it, and God will send them. You probably have already connect with one, but I'll let that be your decision. But a mentor. So first of all, peace of mind, peace of heart, and a mentor, and you will set yourself up for amazing success.
So I'll round out the conversation, Kiera. The awesome news is that you're going to get coaching for the next year, and you're going to have people just surrounding you. And I want to give you some very practical things. So once we go through our orientation, and then we will be doing some one-on-one coaching. And it sounds like you need some kind of contractor agreement with anybody that you're walking in, and you're doing something in their space. So, I mean, there are a lot of details that need to be known. Like, are you coming in and you're getting a percentage of the profits, or they're paying you? So there are a lot of different variables there, but we want to have a simple agreement in place. Now, one of the things that I hear from you is that you're concerned about, the communication, because it can get tense when you're working with somebody else. You're coming into their space, working in their space, or they're wanting to partner with you and they want you to bring more money. And so things do get lost in communication. But before I ever go into someone's space, I would have more of what I call a discovery call, or a discovery talk with them, to find out, to have that conversation about, well, what is it that you want to happen? What's important to you? What would be your expectations? And here, by the way, here's all mine. And so I love the masterminding that the group is giving you, because you really do need to think about what is it that you want when you walk into these situations, so that you're not shoved around by someone, that you know exactly what you want, what's going to benefit you, what your expectations are, and what circumstances are going to mean a no for you. So like if the person's saying, well, you can come and use my space, but I want 70% of your profits for your people that sign up, that is clearly someone who's taking advantage of you, right? You want to be able to talk about what your terms are. These are my terms for coming in and working in this space. And we'll work on that. We'll build your confidence in that. We'll give you the tools that you need. We'll help come up with that agreement and the other tools that you need over the course of the year. Does that sound good?
That sounds awesome.
Okay. All right. Okay, ladies, I want to go into our topic today, and I am going to share a link with you. Cart is out. His grandmother passed away, so you're getting a live document, not a fillable document today. And what this means is that when I send this over to you, you'll want to make a copy of it and save it. So one moment, please. Let me copy this over. I should already have that done. So I'm going to put this in chat for you. And if you're driving, don't do this. Okay, there's the document, and I'm going to share it on my screen for you. We didn't have our coaching clinic last week because of VIP week, but the week before that, for those of you that are joining today, we started a series on using speaking engagements to build your business. And the awesome thing is that some of you on here, you get that concept because you did it last week at VIP week. So we had Kathy Miller, who was one of our speakers. Keisha got to observe that happening. Kiera, you had to get up and do a presentation as well. And Deetra, speaks all the time, so she's very familiar with it. And Rachel got to do this too. but we talked the last time about speaking engagements, and let me actually pull this up. We had this worksheet the last time, and we talked about our level of comfort with public speaking. So we did some assessment on that. What's your comfort level? And the value of speaking publicly on behalf of your business. We talked about the reasons, why it's beneficial to you. So if you're not doing it, then I highly recommend that you do it. It's helped to build my business. And you don't have to be the absolute best speaker who speaks perfectly. People are looking for authenticity and they want to get to know you. And so when we came together the last time, we also talked about what concerned us the most. And it seems like everyone tended to lean towards, I don't know how to create a speaker sheet or marketing materials for speaking. Some of you said, how do I structure a speaking engagement? And then I need to know how to actually get more speaking engagements. So those were some of the things that we came up with. And then we started with some basics. We had you brainstorming some titles of, if you could frame up a sexy talk, what would that look like, right? And so some of you came up with some titles for that. So today, I want to share with you a formula that I have historically used throughout my career for keynote. I use this, I don't care how big it is. If it's a high dollar keynote, all the way down to just a talk at one of our women's circles, I tend to like to use this formula. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. Now I want to ask you a question. I'm going to split you up for a moment, and I want you to answer these two questions with whoever shows up in your breakout room. What would you say is your usual formula for speaking publicly? Now I look at all of you, and I know that all of you in some capacity have spoken in public. So how do you decide how you're going to speak? And then I want you to answer this question: what level of engagement would you say that you get with your audiences? And I want you to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being, oh, my audiences are super engaged, they're pumped. And then 4 is, yeah, they're engaged. 3 is somewhat engaged. 2, okay, they're sleepy. And then 1, they're asleep by the time I get done talking. All right, so, and let's just be really honest about this conversation. Rachel, what is the average time that a speaker is given to speak? It just depends. I would say, well, for a keynote, it's definitely going to be an hour. If it is, for maybe a smaller conference, or you're not the keynote, maybe you're just a featured speaker, it might be 30 minutes, could be 40, 45 minutes. People are getting to more condensed interactive sessions where you speak for 20 minutes and then you have a 10-minute Q&A. So it varies. All right, well, we are going to go ahead and put you into breakouts. All right, everybody's coming back now.
Angie, I didn't mean I have trouble getting on. It's just I have trouble finding, in my day, because I can't time block it.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're here now and you made it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me hear from someone. What did you say in terms of, or what did you hear in terms of someone's formula for speaking publicly?
So Dee Dee and I both share in common that we like to do a lot of preparation, and that we both like writing out what we're going to say.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, I in my presenter notes, like if I sent you my PowerPoint for Bitcoin 101, you'd have my whole presentation just without my voice. Now that does not mean that I actually covered everything that I wrote in all those notes, but I had practiced enough that I knew what the slides were going to say. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't reading them exactly, but I knew what I needed to say on those slides. So preparation for both of us is key.
Okay, so that goes into create, part of your formula. Okay, someone else share. What did you talk about in terms of formula for your public speaking engagement?
Well, one thing we talked about, because like I said, I haven't really had any speaking engagements to adults because I work with kids all the time. So
Right.
it definitely will be different. But Lois was mentioning that she was a minister and like she went to somewhere and they probably just wanted her to give the information, but she started preaching. So I think one thing is clarification and being very clear on what your message should be and who's your audience. Because if you don't have that, you'll be giving a whole speech to the wrong audience and the wrong message, and then that can look bad on you as well. So I just thought about the clarity and just being definitely prepared, but the clarity part, the clarity piece.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to make sense. It needs to be story involved, but there also needs to be facts. I often say facts tell, but stories sell. So anytime that you are speaking, and I'm going to tell you as a business owner, this can really open doors for you if you are finding your right target audience and speaking on something that you might be an expert at, or it just works. So anybody else want to throw in some tidbits on your formula for speaking publicly?
I would kind of piggyback off of what you said, Angie, and what we were talking about in the small group is passion. We were all saying like we usually speak about what we're passionate about, and that just makes it so much easier. Like you don't really have to do much research if it's something that's authentic to you. And that's probably why they want you there in the first place. But I will also say like speaking in public, I always just try to find a way to like add a wow factor. Just something that grabs their attention usually at the beginning, and that helps them like gain trust in you and actually want to listen to whatever else you say.
Yeah. Passion is so critical to whatever you're speaking about. And one place where people get into trouble is they think that their audience has to know every single detail that they know. That is a mistake. That is not true. So first of all, we have to recognize that our audience is in a different place than we are. And the more that we try to cram stuff down their throat for knowledge, the lower that engagement number is going to go down to where they're asleep, right? So we want to keep them super engaged. And that requires us to have the passion. It requires us to recognize that we don't have to feed them a buffet. We want to give them a fine dining experience. So what I want to do is I want to show you, this is actually something that I wrote about. It's in my very first book that I wrote. And it is a model to, first of all, build your speaking engagement on. So this is perfect for you to plan. And I'm going to tell you that you always want to have a high level plan of what you're going to speak about, what your points are, so that you can bring clarity to your audience and you can focus more on your passion. All right, so let me share. By the way, let me also, Sherry, you jumped on late, so I'm going to share this with you. This is our Google document. You'll want to make a copy of this. All right, now let me share. One moment, please. I'm trying to find my share button. It disappeared. Okay, there we go. All right, so every time you speak, I want you to think in terms of fine dining experience, okay? We want to avoid the buffet. How do you think speaking can be like a buffet?
You just shoot facts all over the place.
I was just saying, everything's all over the place. Like you're
All
trying to
over.
give them the meat, the potatoes, the appetizer, the dessert, all at once.
Yeah. I mean, you got fried chicken, you got macaroni and cheese, pizza, everything. You're just trying to throw everything at them and hope that it sticks. And what happens when you go to the buffet? What do?
Put too much on our plate.
Mhm.
Or you have decision paralysis, when you paralyzed because you have so many decisions, you don't know which one
Yeah.
to go after.
Yep. And then I don't know about you, but anytime that I've ever gone to a buffet, I've eaten more than I needed. And so I was full and stuffed, sleepy, and had a bellyache. Well, that's exactly what happens when you give somebody a buffet style speaking engagement or presentation. So we want to do the fine dining. So tell me what a fine dining experience looks like. When you've gone out to a fine dining experience, what do you remember about it?
The table is set more precisely.
Yep, table is set.
And sometimes it's a smaller menu because it's a very exclusive, focused
Yes.
experience.
Yes, exactly.
The atmosphere
Now
is
I'm
richer.
hungry. Now I want steak and lobster.
Mm.
Rachel, the atmosphere.
Yep, I was gonna say the
It's
ambiance.
yeah. You know, maybe there's mood lighting, but it's not, you know, the music might be like classical or jazz, but not like rock and roll, heavy metal.
Okay.
And their customer service, like they cater to you. It's a luxury experience. Even though there's a whole restaurant, your waiter is calling you miss, and they are really catering to your needs.
Yes, exactly.
I haven't been called miss in ages.
All right, so fine dining experience of a speaking engagement includes a few things. And you can even visualize this as a fine dining. This is a great metaphor for this. So when you think about planning for your guests that are coming in, you want to have your big picture dining plan, all right? And so if we talk about this in more practical terms, we want to think, okay, we want to think ahead. Who is the audience that I'm talking to? You know, what's going on with them? What is it, you know, what industry are they from? Or, you know, what's happening with them? And so Dee Dee, for example, we'll use you because you work with HR people in corporate environments. And so your audience, you know, it's going to be HR people who maybe they're struggling with their mindset, right? So HR people, mindset, they're burnt out. So you have the picture of your audience. I mean, you can really dig into that. So when you think about your speaking engagement, what might be the goal of the speaking engagement?
For one, it's connection, because that's to me where that credibility, well, maybe it's connection and to build credibility, and then to provide a solution.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's say mindset, challenges, and burnout. Okay. All right, so just at a high level, what's 1 to 3 points that you could make with them?
Sharing my story because I was them. So that's that whole connection to credibility that kind of draws them in. And
Okay.
And then the second part to that from a deeper level is that acknowledge and validating. And some of that acknowledge and validating, I'm also offering a preview of solutions. Like I was you and I kind of did some of these things. So it's like a little preview of the solution while acknowledge and validating what they're going through.
So we got to think about the audience here. This is you and your methodology, but you might say your point would be like how to how to acknowledge and validate.
I'm sorry.
Gut feeling.
Are we saying 1 to 3 points of the actual like speaking engagement?
Yeah, what is it that you
Okay.
want to get across to them?
Okay, yeah, I was giving you my methodology. Solutions.
Well, how about this? How to recognize
That's what I was thinking.
when you're
Okay.
burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
That some of them may not even know, or, you know, the signs, they just going through the motions. Yeah, I like that.
So it could be like 5 things you can do to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
you know, something like that. So these could be your, and the thing about these 3 points, calling them out, you're really just starting to create the high level outline of speaking engagement. Okay. Okay. Let me walk through this because we're running out of time pretty quick. So there's something that I call an appetizer statement. So this is your actual speaking engagement. And when we talk about an appetizer, what do you know about an appetizer?
It's just a little something to hold you over.
Yeah, it's yummy. It's a little bit yummy. It makes you want more.
It waters your mouth, get you ready.
So this might be a statement. So if we translate this, you might have an appetizer statement that's like, have you ever wished you could just move to the beach? Just making this up. To get away from your HR problems. It could be any statement, but it's something that just grabs their attention. And if I hear this statement, like, heck yes, I'm moving to St. George Island. That's where I'd like to go.
What about things like, did you know 97% of HR professionals are burnt out?
It could be a percentage fact.
Mm-hmm. So where they're like, I must follow that 98%.
Yeah.
Or wonder if it just causes that curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. What if you could, this is a great starter statement. What if you could, or how many of you, and then some, you know, some fact, some relatable fact. So this is an appetizer statement. And here's where you do your introduction, which is who you are, what you do, what value you bring. It's our 60-second introduction. And then you tell them, hey, I'm going to give you a quick, here's what we're going to talk about today. Got your points. Then you turn around and you ask them a question like, raise your hand if.
I like this.
Yeah, it could be, who in here has something? Some engaging question to get them going. Once we get through that, then we come to our main course. So these are, this is a high level, your story. And then you list out your points. So point 1, point 2, point 3. And then we have our dessert, which is you're basically doing a quick summary, but you are also leaving them with a high note, with a memorable statement. Like, for example, giving away your power requires your permission. Or some other statement. So
there's power in choice. What if you chose you?
yes, yes. Right.
Angie, how does that fit in with like a what to do next statement? like a call to action. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so that can actually be here in the dessert. I would actually put it here, a call to action. You can have your contact me, get on my list kind of thing, or take the online quiz and provide them the link. But you always want to end with a memorable statement, because that's sticky and that will stick with them and they will remember you. So here's my challenge for you. I want to challenge you to take this formula and start to create, and think about what would you talk about? Some of you got a chance to do this. What would be the topic that you could talk to people about? And we want to make it sticky. You don't have to make it totally beautiful. I want you to try to bring it back next week and we can work on it. But so let's say that, I know we're running a few minutes over. Sorry, y'all. So like, I wrote down 3 different topics here. Improve your mindset for human resources professionals. Well, that's not a very sexy title, right? So we want to spruce that up and make it sticky. So we might say, how to outsmart burnout with these 5 tricks.
Stop sharing your screen.
Oh, okay. Share it again. Yeah, so it could be, and I recommend that you brainstorm a few titles to work this through. I usually come up with 5 to 10 that I like and then narrow them down. The 5 secrets that every HR person must know to stay healthy and whole, something, right?
Can you make sure you save this?
Let me save this we'll export this as a PDF.
It's on that.
And we will send this out to you ladies. So challenge, I recommend that you start thinking about, well, what could I speak on? Don't worry that you don't have your audience yet. If you don't, that will be a next step for us to work on that. But think about what you have expertise in and what you could talk about. Okay, any quick questions before we end today's session?
What do you do when you have way too much information and way too little time? Like seriously, how do you figure out priority of what to share?
Yeah, I usually say if you have an hour presentation, plan for 30 minutes. Cut the time in half. And if you knew that you had to cut the time in half, what would be the most important, what would be the top things that you would want to talk about? So that's what it comes down to. And sometimes that requires help from someone else. Because what we think is important is not necessarily important to everybody else. All right, ladies. Well, that's all we have for today. So
Thank you.
I'll tell you all, Friday we have our VIP Connect. We do this once a month. For those of you that are new, it's going to be put on your calendar. It may be kind of short notice for you today, but Friday at 9, the first Friday of every month at 9 a.m. Eastern time, we come together and we talk, we do announcements, we just do a little bit of mindset and fun relaxation and just getting to know each other. So I would love for you to be able to be there Friday at 9. If you can't, no worries. We'll catch you the next time around.
I'll be ready then.
All right. But we will see you next week in our coaching clinic.
Right.
Okay, bye, everybody.